he's got fire marshal hat, peace officer hat, city secretary, city clerk, city administrator, and we're paying total compensation of over $100,000. Let me give you an example. City of Anahuac, which is a lot bigger than we are. My next door neighbor, Ken Bays, Darlene's husband, after he retired from Morgan's Point, he took him 2 weeks to decide retirement, like wrong, was not working for him. So he is the city manager for the city of Anahuac. It's a part-time job. And he's able to manage that entire city, which is a lot bigger than ours, a lot larger budget, a lot more population. And they're paying him about $40,000 a year. I didn't ask him the exact number, but you know how you ask him just to be polite. And so, you know, there could be savings there. And I think that, I've brought that up in the budget workshops, people remember, because I know that Diane is one of the very few people, Diane and Jerry show up. The budget workshops are open to the public. There's 72 hours notice, honestly, just like a council meeting. And they're held here in the Coleman room, and you can feel free to sit and observe so that you know what numbers we're talking about.
How did he manage to start making that much money?
Wait, we're not going to get into that.
We don't need to know that.
Well, no, you can know that, but not right now.
Pick up that and email me, and
we'll table that for the next year.
But no, we don't table it for next year. But that's one of the things we need to look at. And our police department. The problem with our police department, I think our police department actually is a need. I really do, because of the first responder issue that we have. Our fire went up 138% after the perimeter fire in 2012. And the perimeter house burned down on East 4th, 138%. Before it had us over a barrel. So we had to, you had to. But you know what that did to our budget? Not good things. So they wanted to go up another 168% on the ambulance service with LaPorte. So there's no way, it was not feasible. So we had to make concessions. So our police officers here, that are here, they act as first responders because Clemcy takes time. My husband lost his late wife because Clemcy took time. So we know about this. But our first responders, our PDs, a lot of times are the first people on scene, and they've got a defib kit. And half of our cops don't even have computers in their car or radios in the car. They're having to go up their personal device. And is that what you want? It's not safe for the officers, and it's not good for the public. And we also need to get insectic, which I looked up, and we passed an ordinance, City Council did, that ordered David Stahl to put us in Thank you. And that is basically a system that would allow all of our warrants and everything that we've got out there to be accessible by other municipalities and their PDs, so that when they pull John Doe over that has outstanding here in Shoreacres, it shows up so we can recoup fines. And we also included $5,000 in the budget for the equipment and the software to become part of that. That was 2 years ago. Still hasn't happened. Now, council isn't the one that's supposed to be doing that. It was a directive, and the money was placed there by council. So something is happening upstairs with the lack of follow-through.
And you're placing that on the police department, or you're placing that on David Stahl?
That is something that David Stahl has.
How many police cars do we have?
Currently, that are in service?
Yes, ma'am.
We have 6, I think.
Yeah, we have 6 vehicles, and we continue to try to extend the life of those as much as possible to reasonable dates. We do not replace them on the same schedule, for instance, the city of LaPorte does, because it would not be prudent for us to be doing that expenditure. We also don't try to have our police engaged in chases, because let's face it, it looks pretty silly to have a residential community chasing people down.
They have a duty to act, though, for it.
Excuse me?
They still have a duty to act, though.
Yeah, I asked a question about
but it doesn't take. But the point is that we have the ability of calling in other people. But the bottom line is, you asked the question.
What cost reduction? No, you just wait. I asked the question.
I was going to address it.
What cost reduction do you think we're going to have?
Okay, I think that we need to have a professionally managed city. The city cannot be run on a part-time basis. We did that before, and that's how we got in the situation where we could not finance and do anything. Let me finish. You asked, I'm addressing it. We have the budget hearings. We ask the police department to extend the life of their equipment. We ask the public works to extend the life of their equipment. They are doing so at our request. We are doing maintenance in some cases for trivial things that we probably should stop. I will say, for example, that we don't need to be cutting grass off of our streets. We need to be doing mowing in our ditches because it's a hazard for growing mosquitoes, but we don't need to be spending a lot of time clipping the grass in front of people's yards where the street is. That's not a safety issue. But yet there are people who ask for that, people who expect that, people who can't get out there with a weed whipper and take care of that part in front of their house. There are small things that where budgets can be controlled, and we do that. We are not growing our budget and our programs. I can tell you that we are on a custodial maintenance basis. If you see something you don't think that we should be spending money on, you should come to us and help us understand what your concerns are. But if you've got some concerns about small things when we have big issues, we have to address the big issues and maintain this community on largely, like I say, a custodial basis. We do not have the revenues. We're not going to raise taxes just because we can. We're going to be prudent. We're going to be frugal, and we do that. And we're not going to contract out and get ourselves into situations where we can't control the future of that. That's the problem we have with the fire service. We are not in a
We're way off topic.
we're not in a
Diane,
position,
question.
but that's how we manage it. We manage it by controlling costs and trying to do what's necessary to keep the city on track.
I just have one comment,
I'd
just to
like
clarify.
one of you to answer briefly about the water tower. If you are elected to be on council, will you get an engineering assessment about the condition of our water tower? Will you also do what Mr. Stanton suggested and to look into other avenues? If this water tower is as bad as I've been told it is and is ailing, one of these mornings we're going to wake up and not have any water.
That's emergency.
Yeah,
To
okay,
get on groundwater, that's for emergency. Elevated is for emergency.
If you get elected to council, would you get a current engineering analysis on the state and condition of our water tower and try to follow through and get some other recommendations about how this city will have plenty of water?
This is a yes or no question.
That's a yes or no question, yes.
Yes.
We will budget for what's needed to be done to examine the history and the case to that. But we have to budget for it. The money doesn't come out of vacuum. We've got to budget for it first.
That's implied by
And
saying
just, I would also,
It's
since
not
someone
implied
else is a
because
new
that's also
member,
implied you're going to raise taxes.
at least do some research as to exactly what's been done and see what exactly would be necessary.
Absolutely.
We don't have a
Isn't
water
that just like an
line.
ultrasonic testing that they test good, like on a ship, right? Check the thickness and just the integrity. I mean, I'm in the marine industry.
Thank you. Same generation.
Thank you, everybody.
Pleasure.